You're now tuned in to the latest, the newest, hottest show on YouTube. I got a story to tell. Hosted by your boy, OG Sonny Blanco. Fire interviews, worldly topics, and much more. Stay tuned. OG Sonny Blanco. I got a story to tell. You heard?
Good people, you are now tuned in. OG Sonny Blanco, I got a story to tell you, heard? But yo, today, we go talk, right? We gonna have a little conversation real quick, right? Cause I've been seeing it happen right before my eyes for like the past 15 years, maybe longer, maybe like 18, 20 years, right? I call it the death of the alpha male, right? The death of the alpha male. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Me personally, I'm going to say it's a bad thing because I'm an alpha male. And when I say alpha male, I'm not talking about a disrespecting women type of man. I'm not talking about that. I'm not talking about a hands-on type of dude. I'm with women and all that. I'm not talking about that, right? I'm talking about the alpha male, the strong male figure, the strong male role model, or even not for nothing, just a strong man, a real man. We're not talking about size, how much muscle you got and none of that. We're not talking about none of that. We're talking about being a man. The death of the alpha male and the birth of the beta male. Is that a good thing or is that a bad thing? Now, when I say alpha male, you got to understand the generation I come from. I'm a 73 baby, right? My generation, maybe like the generation right after me, and definitely all the generations before me were alpha males. They were men that took care of their business. They were men that stood on their word. They were men that reacted and handled situations like men. Is that the same thing we see nowadays? I don't think so, right? Remember back in the day, they called it the strong, quiet type, right? Those who old enough to remember Cary Grant. That was before my time. But I remember watching the reruns and all that when I was a kid. But they used to call Cary Grant the man's man, the strong, silent type and all of that, right? That's ironic, though. That's type funny because I think Son was on. We ain't going to talk about that. But anyway, yeah, the man's man, the alpha male. What happened to the alpha male? I'm going to tell you, when I started to see, I love my coffee. All my coffee people, shout it out. That's my word. I'm a coffee dude. French vanilla, that's all I need. Coffee and my French vanilla cream, I'm good money. But yo, when I started seeing the death of the alpha male, my oldest son is 23, right? So I remember when my son nice in basketball, especially back in the day. I don't know, you know what I mean? He a working man now and all the time. I don't know if he still got skills and all that. He young, he should be still nice. But he was nice, like through high school, junior high, you know what I mean? Elementary, middle school, whatever. He was nice, right? But I remember, like he might have been like 10 years old or something like that, right? Maybe a little younger, maybe like 7 or 8, right? Their team is busting everybody's ass, right? Like they knocking every other team down, right? They're definitely the champions, right? But at the end of the tournament and all of that, everybody got a trophy. Was that a good thing or was that a bad thing? I'm under the impression it was a bad thing. Because it showed the youth and the kids, especially male kids, that you ain't had to work for nothing. That this is easy. Just participate and it's given to you. This is not a participation award. This is the championship, right? Now let's go back to when I played sports and all of that. I remember if we lost, we cried like babies, right? Cried like babies. But one thing for sure, two things for certain, we couldn't wait for the next game against that same team. I don't care if it was 2, 3, 4 weeks down the line, months down the line, or next year. We hyped. We can't wait until we see this team again. You know what that taught? That taught discipline. You know what else that taught? That taught determination. You know what other lesson you got from that? That life ain't easy. That you gotta work for it. They the better team. May the better team win. May the better man win. They was the better team. We gotta get whatever we got to get up, we got to get it up. Whether that's more practice, whether that's more free throws, whether that's more suicides, whatever it is, we gotta do it because we want to be champions next year. We want to be winners next year. When I started seeing everybody got a trophy, I said, that's the end of it. It's the death of it. Now, you got a couple more reasons or a couple more points you can hit on that cause the death of the alpha male. A lot of people like to say it was the lack of the man in the household. Those who say that, I could understand that. But a man not being in the household ain't nothing new. It may be more frequent, but it ain't nothing new. This been going on since my granny days and before my granny. You know what I mean? This ain't nothing new. Some stayed and did the best they could do out the situation, was the best father they could be, and some left. Some got their mind right, and when they had more kids, they did a little better than they did previously, right? But this ain't nothing new. But one thing's for sure, too, for certain. You had a cousin, you had an uncle, you had a friend of the family, you had somebody that you looked at like a male figure, like, I like that right there. I like the way he present himself. You understand me? I like what he stands on. I like his principles. I like his morals and all of that. And you try to steal some of his pages and apply it to your book, right? That was your role model. You had a strong male role model, regardless if Pops was there. Regardless. Like in my family, my Pops was there. You know what I mean? Like off and on, though. Him and my mom split young. I was like 7 or 8 years old. 7, I think, when they split, right? So he was there, and I know my father. But my role model, my idol, now my father has become one of them. But back then, he had to earn that, right? But my grandfather has always been my role model, has always been my idol. He's a man. Take care of his business and all of that. Let me tell you how much of a man he is and how real it gets. Those who know back in the day, your grandpops and your grandmoms and all that, right? I always used to wonder, why they ain't sleep in the bed together. Why grandpops got his own room and granny got her own room. Then as I got older, I start finding out what happened. Like, all right. But he was man enough to still stay in that house. He was man enough to still pay them bills. He was man enough to still slide Miss Mary, that money on Friday to hold it down. You understand me? He stayed there and raised his kids. You understand me? Right there in that house, regardless of what him and Granny was going through. Right? That was a man. That was a man that knew that he was here for a purpose. And it's bigger than him and Mary right now. It's about them kids. Right? That's a man's man. You understand me? That's an alpha male. You understand me? Let me tell you one better. Even back in the day, your mother used to make sure you was an alpha male. Huh? The 80s and all that, early 80s and all of that. Like I said, I'm a 73 baby, so we saying 79, 80, 81. I come in the door crying. Another guy hitting my head down the block and all of that, right? Your moms was the type of moms back then that would send you back out there. Not my son. Don't let your uncle hear about it. Don't let your big brother hear about it. You definitely going back down that block. It was called a fair one. And you give shorty a fair one. Let's see how it worked now. And even if you got your ass busted doing the fair one, you learned something doing the fair one. That you got to stand up for yourself. And if you stand up for yourself, win or lose, they going to respect it. So the next time you back down the block, you ain't got to worry about getting hit in your head and all of that. Because you was a man. You stood in your square. You were an alpha male. You see the beta male, he tucks his tail and run. And that's what we got going on now. You tucking your tails and you running, my YGs, my youngins. And when I say tucking your tail, I don't mean like you on some coward shit. I mean like you scared to give a fair one. You scared to test your hand skills. I come from the era you couldn't even think about doing that if you couldn't do this. If you couldn't do this, you never got the chance to put one of these in your hand or none of that. Right? I come from that era. Alpha male. And when I say alpha male, I mean in any walk of life. Whether you were a good kid, you came from an alpha male family. Whether your family was Christians and all of that, you was in church every Sunday, it was still an alpha male family and alpha males around. Whether your family was Muslim, you were around alpha males. You understand what I'm saying? It was the cloth that the men were cut from. We lost that, good people. You understand me? Like, let's get back to the single parent homes. Even with the single parent homes, you see what happens when you raising a man? When you raising a male child? That male child, okay, he ain't got pops to look at. So he looking at moms, right? He see how moms get all emotional about certain things. And she may start to argue or start to scream and fuss and fight. And he starts to believe that that's the way the situation should be handled. He can't differentiate. Now, that's how women may handle the situation. Men, we don't do that. We don't do that. See, first he wasn't taught that, and he couldn't differentiate it. He couldn't put the difference between it. You understand what I'm saying? He couldn't see, oh, this is what women do, this is what men do. To him, it was what people do. So what did he do when he started growing up? He grew up emotional. He grew up a little sensitive. And when I say sensitive, there's nothing wrong with being sensitive. I guess in touch with your feelings. We're not going to that aspect of it, right? We going to the manly aspect of it, right? You understand me? Like, so when he talked to his lady, he arguing like he a lady. You hear the argument, you think it's two women having the argument, but you clearly hear this male's voice because he's all emotional and he like his mother, right? That's the number 2 death of the alpha male, the reason for the death of the alpha male and the rise and the birth of the beta male, right? When you were scared to have your own identity. See, having your own identity and standing on what you stand on is traits of an alpha male. The follower, the follow the pack type, that's the beta male. You understand what I'm saying? You follow me? Like, yo, I believe if a lot of these kids were alpha males now, you wouldn't have as much of the nonsense going on. You see, if they was alpha males, they wouldn't be scared to put up that fair one, right? If they was alpha males, they would know not to be a yes man and fall for every little thing, right? Every little trick in the book and all of that, right? If they were alpha males. If they were alpha males, they could see and understand that you need to surround yourself around like people. You need to surround yourself around more alpha males, right? This is the one thing I give Big Meech, right? Big Meech said one time, he was like, yo, listen, I'm a good leader. So therefore, those that follow me, when it's their time to lead, they go be good leaders. if your leader was a bad leader and you followed that leader, when it's your turn to lead, you're going to be a bad leader, right? That don't make all the sense in the world. Don't matter, even though Big Meech is a street dude, it don't matter what field you apply that to. It will work for you. Nobody jumps out being a leader. Nobody jumps out. You didn't come out the womb being a leader. You were taught, you were nurtured, and you saw something and you followed that. And hopefully it was the right model in front of you that you followed. If you followed a good leader, when it's your turn to lead, you go be a good leader, right? Say it's the military. When you a private, right? If your sergeant is a BS sergeant, you go be a BS private. Huh? If the lieutenant is a BS lieutenant, the sergeant go be a BS lieutenant, and it trickles down. But let's say the general is a stand-up dude. The captains go be stand-up dudes. The lieutenants go be stand-up dudes. The sergeants go be stand-up dudes. The privates go be stand-up dudes. So when it's that time for the private to become a sergeant, he go be a stand-up sergeant. And the further he go up the ladder, he go maintain the same thing because he's an alpha male. I personally think the death of the alpha male was the worst thing that ever happened to society. Huh? You see, even with the fashion, like I said, I'm an old head, so it wasn't hard for me to get back into the slim cut. I'm not wearing no extra tight joint. You won't see me walking around like I got a camel toe or nothing, right? None of that. No freaky, right? But the tapered legs and the little slim cut or straight fit and all that was nothing for me to get back into because I'm a 70s baby. Back in the 70s and the 80s, we always walking around like that. Huh? I was on a basketball team. The shorts was way up here, thigh high. Word. So, you know what I mean? That the baggy stuff and all that ain't coming to like 89, 90, 88. You know what I mean? 89, 90, all through the 90s, that's when we started to put the baggy stuff on. And then they flipped it. But even watch how they flipped it nowadays. Sometimes you can't tell the men's clothes from the women's clothes. Everything's become a beta society, right? Which led to all the males being beta males and no longer the alpha male. Huh? Look at football. Everything's changed. You could barely touch a quarterback or barely touch somebody in a football match. Huh? They took over that. Huh? Can't play basketball the same. Huh? You tap your man like that, it's a super foul. You can't even hand check no more. Right? Everything's become weak. Everything's become watered down. Everything's become extra sensitive. I don't know. I can't rock with that. I miss the days of the alpha male. Maybe I'm a dinosaur. Maybe I'm prehistoric, right? Maybe they don't make this type no more, huh? Like Wallow said. Shout out Wallow, huh? Wallow said, yo, he was talking to the youngins, and the youngin told him, yo, listen, you playing by a book, or you playing by reading from a book that people don't read that book no more. Like you playing by rules that they don't play no more. That's sad. That's sad. If you still play by the rules that my generation played by, the generations before me, even the generation right after me, we wouldn't have a lot of this BS going on. If you had more alpha men, alpha males, it wouldn't be a lot of this BS going on. Huh? You extra sensitive. You extra emotional. So a simple disagreement with another man can't just be a disagreement. You can't agree to disagree because you're too emotional. You're a beta male. You can't even see the sense of agreeing to disagree. You can't even comprehend that because you're too emotional. You're too wrapped up to break it down and think about it. To break it down to its bare minimum and think about the situation. So what you do? Like I just said, the young boys, when they talking to their girls and they arguing and whatnot, you could barely, he's screaming and his voice is just as high pitched as hers. He sound like the chick the way he carrying on and all of that. Same thing in the streets. Huh? Teach you in the streets, all you got is your word and your balls. Pause. But all you got is your word and your balls, right? Y'all youngins don't believe in that no more. You extra sensitive. You extra emotional. So when the aggression, when it's time to step into action, you so much of a beta male, you scared to step into action and knuckle up and defend yours, you'd rather run and go get that thing. Because you're emotional. You scared to take an ass cutting. Not knowing that's going to build you and build your character. You can't understand that because you're a beta male. That's just my take on it, good people. I may be wrong, but I may be right. It's something to think about. Is the loss of the alpha male the reason why the climate and the temperature of the society is like it is? Could that be one of the reasons why, especially with the young men? Black, white, Spanish, I don't care if you was purple. Like the youngins is wilding, like you too emotional. Like you lost the art of being an alpha man or alpha male. You lost that art. It's a lost art, for real. And then the sad thing is, a lot of OGs, oh, my lighter went dead, I gotta get another lighter. All right, a lot of OGs has converted, conformed and all of that. That's the extra sad thing about it. A lot of OGs done conformed. They becoming beta males. You wasn't a beta male 20 years ago. How you a beta male now? Don't let society change you. You change society. But once again, that's just my humble opinion. Y'all should have never gave everybody trophies. You should have made them earn that trophy. You should have made them work for it. And if they lose, come back next year and fight again. Come back next year and fight again. Y'all don't want to fight. Y'all don't want to fight for nothing. You don't want to fight for your education. You don't want to fight for your livelihood. You don't want to fight for your manhood. You don't want to fight for nothing. That's back to what I was saying about the music being influencers and the arts being influencers. In my era, fight the power. We were taught to fight, stand up for yours. In my era, that's where we lost it. It's our fault as OGs, but to the OGs that's putting the work in, it's your fault, youngins, for not listening. Because you think you know everything now. You can't see 20 years from now. A lot of these youngins think they go die early. Leave a pretty corpse and all that, a handsome corpse and all of that. Nah, some of y'all go make it. A lot of y'all go make it. Then you go turn around 20 years from now and be like, yo, what happened to me? Why am I in this state? Why am I in this condition? Because you never got your mind right years ago. You never became an alpha male. You see, an alpha male, one thing's for sure, he gonna know how to hold it down in any situation. If he at his worst, he know how to hold it down and bounce back. If he at his best, he know how to maintain that. That all come with the alpha male lessons. The art is lost, good people. We need to bring that back. That's just my humble opinion, right? Let's talk about it. Y'all get in the comments. Let me know what you think about that, right? Hey, yo, OG Sonny Glocko, I got a story to tell. Hit that like button. Smash that like button. Subscribe. Listen, just last week I said, yo, my channel ain't all of that. I got a little 175 subscribers now. That was just last week, right? Look, we growing every day. We up to three and some change, right? We growing every day, right? Y'all rock with me, good people. We go continue good content, right? We go continue to have good discussions like this right here. We go start doing some live soon and all of that. So discussions like this can be talked about on a broader scale and all of that, right? But yo, let's bring the alpha male back. There's nothing wrong with the alpha male. You don't have to be a gorilla to be the alpha male. You don't have to beat your girl up to be an alpha male. You don't have to do none of that. An alpha male is inside. It's about standing up for yours, standing on your square, having morals, having principles, knowing how to conduct yourself and all of that, right? Stop giving out trophies. Make them earn it. And take that on every aspect of life. Stop giving it out. Make them earn it. You dig? Salute, good people. OG Sonny Blanco, I got a story to tell. Hey, yo, Triple Beam Show, shout it out. My G Craig and all of that, right? John Ace TV, shout it out. That's my G. Hood Floors TV and all of that, shout it out. That's my G, huh? True Dollars, you already. Pharaoh Guns, you already. Tavon Miller, you already. Huh? Planet Plainfield, you already. Right? All my peoples. Kaheem Allah, you already. Darkside Sag, you already. Huh? Rockstar Little Man. Huh? Harlem Legend. China Brim. Jamil Saladin. Mac Mean and all of that. Good people. 050 is the movement. Sonny Blanco is the name. You dig? Keeping it official is the game. Hey, yo, salute, good people. OG Sonny Blanco, I got a story to tell you, heard?
You're now tuned in to the latest, the newest, hottest show on YouTube. I got a story to tell. Hosted by your boy, OG Sonny Blanco. Fire interviews, worldly topics, and much more. Stay tuned. OG Sonny Blanco. I got a story to tell. You heard?